this video, I'd like to talk a little bit about what it takes for you to be successful in this class. In my last semester, I had 6 students that were taking the class for more than the first time. In one case, they were taking it for the 3rd time. Now, sometimes students will take the class from me, and then they'll not pass it, and they'll take the class on campus with Brother Barney, and they're kind of going back and forth. The class doesn't have to be that difficult if you follow these tips that I'd like to talk a little bit about with you. So I don't want anybody to have to take this class another time. So I really want to get you some measures of success, some hints, some tips that will help you to be more successful. I used to do this presentation with each of the different teams individually, but because of the work that I currently have in my calling as the ward greeter, I'm a little low on time, so I thought I'd do it via video. So that was a joke, by the way. So let's start out with how to be successful in the class. Number 1, embrace the differences. Too often, students get so wrapped up in the fact that this isn't a typically structured university class that they just can never get past that and get on to learning, because the class is really about learning. So embrace the differences, move on, and ultimately, I promise you that at the end of the semester, you'll have learned a ton from the class. Number 2, you need to understand the grading. It's basically broken down into 3 sections. Coding topics is 1/3, diagrams is another 1/3, and everything else is a third. Number 3, use your team. Your team is there to help and support you and learn. You'll learn together as a team. You'll have opportunities to teach. You'll have opportunities to be taught. And that is really the key to being successful in the class. During week 2, you're going to meet together as a team and you're going to put together a schedule for teaching. Stick to that schedule and you'll be great. You need to understand also that the way that this class is set up is it's very iterative. And what I mean by that is you will be sending me work over and over and over again. It's not like a class that you just turn in an assignment and you're done. You're going to send me work, I'm going to give you feedback. You're going to send me more work, I'm going to give you feedback over and over again. If, like a few students do every single semester, you turn everything in on the last day, you don't have the opportunity to change it. You don't have an opportunity to improve it. So listen, and remember the iterativeness of this class. That's so important. And then the last thing, and honestly, if there's not anything else that you get from this presentation, it is that I post all sorts of stuff in the discussion groups under the course information forum. Please subscribe to it. It will override course material information or syllabus information in some cases. An example of this is, how do I submit my fluency report? If you don't subscribe and check in regularly to the course information forum, you're going to miss the details of that and you're not going to know what's going on. I cannot emphasize this enough. All right, let's move on. So I want to just talk a little bit about what you're going to learn in the class, because I think it's important to know what you're going to learn so you can then turn around and feel confident in what's coming up. So this class is really meant to be a transition from you as you get ready to leave the university setting and go out into the workforce. You're going to learn how to learn outside of the academic environment, because typically in academics, you have a professor that's going to lecture and they're going to provide other materials and they're basically going to tell you how to learn. You're going to learn in this class how to learn on your own. You're going to learn about yourself. You're going to learn about what makes you tick, what your strengths and weaknesses are, and hopefully you can learn to take advantage of what you learn about your strengths and weaknesses. Sure, you're going to learn about software development, and you're going to learn how things are done in the real world, because let's face it, when I have people on my teams doing software development and we decide we're going to use a new technology, we have people go out and we have people start researching it, looking at the internet, finding good sites, writing code to try to understand. And that is exactly the same way we learn in this class. You're going to learn how to pace yourself because there's not going to be a big assignment every week. So you're going to have to learn to not procrastinate. You're going to have to learn how to follow a schedule. And you're going to learn that if you don't learn those things, that you get behind to the point where you can't catch up. So you have to stick with it. You have to prioritize your work. You have to start with your strengths, rely on your strengths, and then move from there. And ultimately, you're going to find how to be a better programmer. There's one other thing I just want to talk a minute or two about, and that is, again, a little bit more about the structure of the class. There are kind of two tracks that you can go down. The one is, I just want to pass this class so I can graduate. I cannot tell you how many students I've heard that from over the years. In fact, every semester I hear it from about 50% of the class. Just let me, what is it going to take, Brother Tuckett, for me to get a C minus? Now, you know what? This doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm fine if you get a C minus. And so what you do to get a C minus and to pass the class is you get to disagree on all of the coding topics. We're now calling that a basic understanding. Okay? And so once you get that basic understanding, in addition to that, you work as a team, you learn from your team, you teach as a team, you're engaged with your team, and you can complete the other work, which is the diagram section, the professional behavior, professional schedule, and your journal report. If you do all those things, yeah, you can get a C minus. Woohoo! That's what you were looking for, right? If you want to do any more than that, and many students do, you do everything that I talked about in option 1, and in addition to that, you're going to be creating an Android application. This application is going to teach you how to architect, design, and develop an application. And it's going to be amazing. There's so much that you're going to learn beyond what you do with option 1. And if you do that, you're going to get somewhere between a C minus and an A, just depending on how well your application does. And let me just say this, most of the students who go down this path and stay engaged and work hard do pretty well. So I hope that what we've been talking about here, that the information that I've gone over, will help you to find success in this class.